Well, it's Christmas time, and as you would suspect, PlayStation is going even further when it comes to the holiday rushes. The newest thing that they've right now got pushed out there is these collectible box gift sets. And needless to say, some of them look pretty good, but we're going to look at them at face value because surprisingly there are three different ones. There's a cheap one, then there's a middle one, and then there's the more expensive one, and we'll get into that in just a sec. But I want to look at each individual item and to see if it's worth the price that you're paying for that particular gift box set. So let's take a look here. They're all in different stores for some reason, but we'll still talk about them. The first one you can find at Wal-Mart. It's the CultureFly PlayStation Collectible Box. This particular item contains basically a couple items that you see here. The first one is the PlayStation beanie. That one actually looks pretty good. You have PlayStation symbol coasters. You have a pair of socks, as well as a notepad and one mystery item. Now, it's hard to say the quality of what it looks like, but for the most part, if I had to look at this and determine which one I liked it out of it, I definitely like the beanie. The coasters look pretty good, and then the pair of socks, which I've been getting a lot of design socks lately. And I've got a couple of PlayStation socks myself, both PlayStation and PlayStation 2 styles together. So to get another pair of socks, that's not a big deal. I really like that. But depending on what the mystery item is. Now, from what the picture shows, it shows like a little controller as a mystery item, but who's to say if it's actually the case? It could be like a collector pin, it could be like a random figurine or something. Who's to say, really? So for these particular boxes, we're only going to talk about the items that are in the boxes in terms of value. Whether the mystery item is anything in particularly expensive or anything like that, we're going to exclude those out and determine if this is worth it. Because this is the $20 value, though, 1988 is a $20 value. From what you see, it looks pretty decent. You know, for $20 you do get kind of your money's worth. If nothing else, the beanie and the socks would be definitely worth it for me. But having the coasters would be kind of a small bonus, whereas the notepad, I mean, really, in all honesty, when you think about it, the notepad wouldn't really last that long, especially if you actually use it. If nothing else, it's more or less for decorating your desk, I guess. But for that being said, it ain't that bad for 20 bucks. So let's move on to the second tier item. This one you can only get at Target. Again, these are in different stores. But for $30, you get a metal PlayStation keychain, as well as a PlayStation memory card bottle opener. That one's actually pretty cool. 4 PlayStation pin sets. There's 4 of them. And then a PlayStation mug. Now, this one does not have a mystery item, so therefore, it's all basically there. So you're getting what you see. And for 30 bucks, is it worth it? Depending on how you look at it, because the pins are the emblem pins, obviously. So if you collect them, like I've been collecting them, this is actually a nice way to decorate it. Now, out of the 4, 3 of them are kind of generic, but then again, they're supposed to be color toned towards the PlayStation 1, like for example, the system, the memory card, as well as the controller. Whereas the PlayStation symbol emblem, that actually stands out, and I really like that. I like how that looks. The PlayStation mug, I want to say, judging by the look of it, is actually kind of like a cheap metal or something like that. I don't know, it's hard to say, but sometimes PlayStation make good quality mugs. I have actually seen them, but I have not seen this style before, so it could be metal, because everything else looked pretty metal as well. From the bottle opener to the keychain itself. So it could all be actual metal. Who knows? It could all be metal. In which case, if it is $30 bucks, $29.99 that is actually pretty good value. Depending on how the material of the metal itself, it could be worth the $30 value. So if you're interested with at least half the stuff in here, like if you're interested with the pins and the mug, I actually like the bottle opener. I really do. I've actually got myself a themed bottle opener downstairs, and I actually use it sometimes whenever I do get a bottled drink and it has like one of those bottle caps. So I do actually use it. So having this right here, I actually would like to get that. As for the keychain, that actually looks really nice. I like it. So for 30 bucks, it definitely has a value. So for a higher tier, you do get better quality. Now then, let's move into the bigger item. The one item that I have questions of. And this one is sort of a, I want to say that it's sort of a half and half, like depending on how you look at it. This one for the high tier, according to what it says, you get over $125 value of 10 limited edition items inside. You get the PlayStation Pocket Scarf, the PlayStation Collector Pin, the lanyard, button coaster sets, messenger bag, the PlayStation hat, throw blanket, DualShock bath mat, and then 2 mystery items, 1 home item, and 1 final vigor. Now, let's talk about this. Let's talk about the items in particular. Obviously, you have the pocket scarf, you know, being as cold as it is, people will probably get it. And if it's a PlayStation theme, a lot of people would jump on board with this one. They would love that. The collector pin, I actually like how the collector pin looks. It looks really good. You know, it's definitely a nice quality. The lanyard, I mean, for what it is, you know, it's a lanyard. If you definitely go to conventions and stuff like that, this is definitely something to show off in towards convention halls and stuff like that. I've already got myself a lanyard. Actually, this one is a Kingdom Hearts theme, a Heartless one rather. But honestly, I wouldn't mind having another one, especially if it's a PlayStation theme, so that's nice. Coaster pins, I don't know the quality of how it looks because of how the picture makes it look, but it looks like it'd be higher quality than what the cheaper tier one has. I mean, the cheaper tier one looks like it's very flexy plastic, look like something that would wear out over time. These look like they might actually last a little bit longer, but then again, it could be because of how the picture looks. Maybe it's plastic, maybe it's a cheaper metal, who knows, it's hard to say really. The messenger bag, I want to talk about this because out of the 3 items, for some reason there's actually reviews going out there, and they're not really good. Like, they are like within 2 and 1 star. But that being said, it could be a manufacturer type problem. But one of the reviews actually talked about the messenger bag, and I'll actually, right here, let me see here. Here we go. Sadly, the messenger bag was very small to a point that a filing folder would not fit inside the bag without bending the folder. Now, of course, number one, why would you put a filing folder into anything in particular, especially when it looks like this, the messenger bag in question, but couldn't even fit in a filing folder without bending it? Chances are it's probably pretty small. I would imagine I imagine that the messenger bag in question, you could probably fit like a bunch of your handheld stuff. Again, this would be another good item to have during convention times and stuff. So, I mean, it's not really big. You wouldn't be able to have it during school times and stuff like that, or even college for that matter. But for what it is, it's okay. I would agree, though, it needs to be a little bit bigger, so that's probably an out item. The hat, you know me, I like fedoras, I like my beanies. What did I do with my other beanie right here? Oh well, whatever. Basically, I either wear a beanie or I wear my fedoras. And if they had a PlayStation fedora theme, I would purchase that immediately. But so far, they have not had one. So I'm going to have to make my own, of course, naturally. But the hat, I mean, it looks good on its own. If you like hats, chances are you'll like this one. Me, I don't care much for it. The throw blanket. We'll talk about that because that was also in that review as well. But the throw blanket, for it being a PlayStation theme, judging by the picture, it's hard to say how it looks. But as for the review itself, let's see here. It said it right here. I can't even seem to find it. Oh, here we go. As for the blanket, it is very thin compared to the throw blankets you buy in stores. Very thin. Now, I've actually seen fleece blankets in multitudes of tiers. You know, you have the really good quality, which is extremely thick. We're talking like that thick of material. Then you got your normal fleece blankets, which are about like that maybe. The Charlie Brown ones that I've got, and then the ones that Wal-Mart got, they're basically of that common fleece material, and it's very nice, very warm. And then you've got the real cheap, thin fleece blankets, and if this is what I think it is, judging by the image, it's probably that real crappy quality of fleece blanket. And of course, this is just looking at it, this is not purchasing it, which we'll get to that in just a sec. But the fleece blanket itself, depending on how it is, and judging by that one review, that's not necessarily good. So, out of them all, oh, and also too, we got the bath mat. It's hard to say because of the picture and because of the box, so it's kind of hard to judge how big it is. But depending on the messenger bag, which is probably about like that size there, probably. Judging by the picture, the bath mat is probably going to be about like this, which means it's only big enough just to put it in front of your toilet. Now, personally, I've actually thought about actually decorating my bathroom when me and Delmore was moving in into the PlayStation 1 style of the bathroom. Currently, right now, it's in the style of an armory, so there you go. But as for the bath mat for the PlayStation controller, it's kind of small, but then again, who's to say what size of bath mat people usually want? I've actually seen them being about this big, so to see it about that big, that's kind of smallish, but depending on the person, depends on if it's that good of a quality. Without including the two mystery items, which we'll talk about those shortly afterwards, if you were to look at this, I would say half of the stuff, actually not even half, only like 3 of the items I actually wouldn't mind getting. The lanyard, messenger bag, hat, throw blanket, and the PlayStation bath mat I would not get. As for the coasters, the pin, and the pocket scarf, I would definitely get those. I would. So I mean, overall it's not exactly that good of a value. As for the 2 mystery items in question, judging by the item, the one mystery item is said to be a home item, which judging by the image itself, it could be another mug. Why is a mystery item? I don't know. But then you have the mystery final figurine. Now, I can't say for sure what they're going to put in terms of a mystery item in terms of final figures, but it's hard to say with this this image. But it looks like a controller on a stand or something like that. Again, it's hard to say what it looks like, but maybe it's not even that. Maybe it's one of those otaku figurines. If it is, then that makes it just a little bit better, but not by much, because considering how many otaku figurines there are now, you wouldn't get the one that you would want. Like for me in particular, I would want the Bloodborne Hunter figurine, but something tells me that will not be included in it. It will be sold separately, obviously, so depending on the value, depends on if you want to risk for those 2 items. Maybe some people like the rest of them, who's to say, but I saved the best part for last, and by the best part, I'm talking about the heart attack part of it all. This particular PlayStation collector's box that can be purchased only at GameStop, keep that in mind, only at GameStop, is a value of $79.99, 80 bucks. Let's go ahead and look back into the previous items. The Walmart value happens to be 20 bucks. The Target value, 30 bucks. And the GameStop, 80 flippin' dollars. Unless the messenger bag is just a little bit bigger, or the PlayStation bath mat is just a little bit bigger and maybe at a higher quality, it is not worth 80 bucks. I would probably say that depending on the materials in question, it would probably be worth 60 to 50 bucks probably. Easily I can say that. Unless of course, like I said, the two mystery items are a little bit higher quality. Who's to say? But for 80 bucks, would you get this? Probably not. I would probably save my money for the 80 bucks and just go ahead and grab the Walmart and the Target versions of the two, because at least you are getting your value. You know, you're basically getting $50 of actual good stuff compared to this. You're probably gonna get half the quality, and it's 80 bucks. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. So, you know, just look at these particular things, decide which one you would want more, and then if you want to take the risk, go ahead and take the risk. Now, which of the three would I get? If I had to decide, I would probably get the Target PlayStation loot box, because at least the value stands out more to me than it does towards the other two. I do like the beanie on the Walmart one, and like I said, excluding the mystery item, that would be the only thing that I would like out of it. The coasters and the socks would be a nice addition to have, but for 20 bucks it is kind of cheapish, which makes sense. And then you've got the GameStop real expensive one. Again, only 3 out of all of that, unless the mystery items would be something a little bit better. But if the quality of the fleece blanket and the messenger bag says anything at all, then this was actually a very cheap box for what the price is. Like, ridiculously expensive. But anyway though guys, that's going to be it for this video. Just look at these three. I'm going to leave the link in the description box for you guys. Just check them out and decide which one you think is good value for your price. To me, I think most people are going to get the Walmart and Target, and the ones at GameStop, they're going to wait until they go down in price towards clearance and stuff. So, who's to say?